Hi everyone, it's Rose, and this is November 26th of 2012, and I just got back from my second infusion, my second Benlysta infusion, and I'm going to be doing this video a little bit different from the first one. The first one I was actually filming at the medical center getting the infusion. Unfortunately, today when I got to the medical center and I went to get my flip camera ready, it wasn't working. I think the battery was dead, although I thought I had charged it, but regardless, it wasn't working. So I wound up having to just do some video clips and some pictures on my cell phone camera. So the quality isn't going to be nearly as good as the first one, but I did want to report to you about my second infusion. It's been a long road to even get to the second infusion. Normally, as you know, with the loading doses for Benlysta, you get one every 2 weeks over a 6-week period. What happened with me after my first infusion, about 12 days afterwards, I wound up being admitted to the hospital through the emergency room. I had developed a very bad case of colitis, which is an inflammation and an infection of the colon. Now, the doctors aren't really able to say what caused that to happen. They don't know if it was the methotrexate, the chemo drug, if I picked up an infection somewhere, or if that plus the Benlysta exacerbated it. They're not really sure, and specialists are very careful not to really pin it down on one thing or another when you're working cross specialists. If you read my blog, which is called Benlysta Faith Journey, you can Google that. It's on WordPress. I do explain about the different infections. Mostly I was in for 4 days in the hospital, so that bumped back my second infusion. Then after I got home from the hospital, and I had several more days of antibiotics to be on. The antibiotics wound up killing all my good bacteria, so I wound up getting an infection, the female kind of infection, and so I had to treat for that. As well as after I got that one under control, I had a really bad case of oral thrush, which is another yeast infection, only it's in the mouth. So I was treating that, and then my first infection came back again. So between getting treated for all these infections, you can't have infections to get Benlysta treatment, so they had to keep bumping it back and bumping it back. So between the hospital stays and being at home on all the medications to try and get infections under control, here it is nearly 6 weeks later, and I'm getting my second infusion treatment. So it went very, very well, as it did the first one. And what I'll do is I'll kind of walk you through some of the pictures and some of the steps that are taken during the procedure. I did it also a little bit differently this time. Beforehand, I had pre-medicated myself with Phenergan for nausea, Vicodin for headaches, which are common in people getting the infusion treatments. But because I was driving myself to the medical center today, I didn't want to load myself up and be too tired to drive. So I did take a Vicodin beforehand, but I waited until I got there, and then they gave me Benadryl. I think they said it was like 50 milligrams of Benadryl in the IV before they even put the Benlysta. So here we go, just arriving at the medical center, and I'll talk you through some of the steps that we went through, and then I'll come back on later and finish up. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, the first thing is me just arriving at the medical center, and the infusions are done at the Cancer Institute at Penn State Hershey Medical Center. And I arrive at the Infusion Therapy Center. That's all they do in there. And today I was put in a bed 11, rather than a chair, because the chairs were all taken. But for today it was a bed. And the first thing they do is they get the IV line started, draw some blood to test every single time you go in. Once that's done, then they give you they go ahead and push IV Benadryl, 50 milligrams in. And while they're waiting for the pharmacy to bring up the Benlysta bag. So by this time, it's about a half hour going by and you start getting tired. When the Benlysta bag comes up, it comes up covered in a brown bag because it can't be exposed to light. It also can't be shaken, and it just has to be kind of moved very gently. Once that's ready, then they go ahead and hook up the line into another IV port and get it set up into the IV machine. And you'll see when they hang the bag, it's still covered with the brown paper bag the entire time. It's not paper, I'm sorry, plastic bag. And they hook it up through the IV machine. For a 1 hour drip, it's set at 250. You can see that there on the right. And that's 250 drips per minute for a 1 hour drip. And then you just wait. And if you haven't had any reactions, it's just a matter of resting the rest of the time. Hello again. I have to apologize. Like I said, the quality isn't as good as it would be if I were filming it live, and I'll try to do better for the next one. After that time period, as I said, usually I handle, so far, I'm doing pretty good with handling them in a 1 hour time period without feeling nauseated. I took the Vicodin ahead of time so I wouldn't get a headache. I am very tired right now from the Phenergan. So it takes about an hour. Then what they do, once that hour is done, they do run the saline through the line for about 15 minutes afterwards, just to make sure that you've gotten all that's in the bag and it's drained the line completely. And then they unhook you and you're free to go home. And they always make sure, I have my nice bandaging. Still, I'll keep on for today. It's pretty sore. So I have all my next infusion is in 2 weeks time, and then I have appointments through March, and hopefully things will get better. For now, I think I'm going to go ahead and get a nap. I did get a bite to eat, but I'm feeling pretty good. It's really hard to say. It's only my second infusion. I had a real bad time between the first and the second one, which I'm not sure was related to the Benlysta treatment. But I hope to, either through my blog or videotaping, to see when I'm noticing some difference. Again, if you have any questions at all and you want to write me, or you want to tell me your story, share your experience, I'd be happy to chat with you. You can write me. My email would be benlystafaithjourney, all one word, benlystafaithjourney@verizon.net. So until next video, next infusion in 2 weeks, I'll talk to you then. Thank you, and God bless you.